Hello, welcome to CBC. Today we'd like to talk about regional cooperation issues that Azerbaijan is part of. And we will discuss this topic with Safdar Parviz, the Director of the Regional Cooperation Division of the Central and West Asia Department of the Asian Development Bank. Hello, Mr. Parviz. Thank you for your time you're sharing with us. And you came along with a mission to Azerbaijan. And what's the main assignment of the mission?
Thank you for your question. The main assignment of this mission is to consult with the government of Azerbaijan as well as development partners and some research think tanks on the preparation of a new strategy that will take our program, the Central Asia Regional Economic Cooperation Program, to its next level. So we are preparing a new strategy for defining priority areas of cooperation and investments and reforms for the period leading to 2030.
13 years.
This is 13 years, and the reason why we are talking about 2030 is that one clear objective going forward is for us to align the CAREC program with the 2030 development goals, including the sustainable development goals to which Azerbaijan is a signatory to, as well as this famous COP21 climate agreement on which Azerbaijan has also signed on to. So the idea is that the CAREC program should come up with complementary regional investments that can add to the national investments that Azerbaijan is already planning in order to achieve these goals. So we are trying to support the government of Azerbaijan as well as the 10 other member countries of CAREC to achieve the sustainable development goals and the COP21 climate agreement objectives through the CAREC program investments.
What are the main, as you said, areas you defined as for this research?
Yeah. So the CAREC program currently has got 4 major areas of operations. The first is transport sector and connectivity, whereby we promote transport projects. Then we promote energy sector cooperation. Then we facilitate trade environment improvement through trade facilitation efforts. And fourth, we work on trade policy development issues.
So far, I see this is not a new spheres for Azerbaijan. What is going to be the difference between the existing cooperation we have at this point and with the new strategy you're trying to bring to Azerbaijan?
So the new things would be, there would be 2 new things. First of all, in these 4 areas that you have mentioned, which are not new, what will be new in these areas is that, for example, in the transport sector, we have focused only on roads so far. The new thing would be that we will branch out to cover areas such as railways, such as aviation, such as dry ports. So it is a major expansion, so looking at multimodal transportation systems rather than just a narrow focus on roads. In energy, we have focused much more only on transmission and distribution systems of conventional energy projects. But now, aligning ourselves with the sustainable development goals, we will be focusing on new areas such as clean energy, renewable energy, and looking at regional investments in that space. In the area of trade, we have made some improvements, but there is still a huge scope to move forward with, for example, free trade agreements in the CAREC region, the whole concept of a single window to facilitate traders to reduce the costs of trading. So there are many areas that we have still not been able to fully complete in the existing strategy. Those would be carry forward to the new strategy. In addition, we are looking at selected interventions in the area of regional health and education aspects, which are not totally covered now.
Yep.
We are looking at promoting financial and monetary cooperation through, for example, financial regulators and central banks in order to focus on macroeconomic policy dialogue issues to prevent or mitigate the kind of financial crisis that many countries have faced in recent years. So these are all elements of new areas. A couple of other areas that we are looking at very closely is this area of tourism development from a regional perspective. Again, it's not been focused so far. And finally, we are looking at issues of agriculture and food security. So as you can see, this is a very new expansion, and it's going to cover new areas of cooperation that we have not touched before.
For instance, how would it look like in the future? For instance, if you said it's going to touch the transportation system, it's not going to be like we have existing cooperation, it's going to touch the railway roads, or as you said, it's going to touch energy sector, and it's not going to be a traditional energy sector, it's going to be renewable energy. For instance, how this cooperation is going to look like in future?
Let me give you one example from the aviation sector. In the aviation sector, for example, within the Central Asia and Caucasus region, flight connectivity, airline connectivity is not really very good, and you have to go through various countries in order to reach a second country within the region. So, for example, we would try to promote this whole idea of looking at aviation as an important and integral part of the transport network. For example, even discussing things like an open skies policy at some point in time in order to facilitate both transit, as traffic, passenger traffic, freight traffic. So we just feel that from the point of view of tourism, so imagine a future whereby you have tourists from other Central Asian countries coming into Azerbaijan, Azerbaijani tourists going to other and for example, you have agribusiness value chains, starting from one country going to another country. So the potential for regional cooperation is tremendous. We have not even scratched the surface of that up until now. And what we are really interested in this new phase is that beyond hardcore infrastructure, we want to promote more people-to-people contacts through tourism, through other means, because we feel that ultimately it is the people of these countries that have to benefit from regional cooperation.
If I may ask you this question, maybe it's too early to talk about some numbers, but I would ask you, do you have any research concerning these issues, concerning these new areas for development? How this going to bring a new boost to Azerbaijani economy in numbers? Do you have any research at this time?
I don't have individual numbers on Azerbaijan, but what I can tell you, for example, is that we have just commissioned a new study on identifying the infrastructure investment requirements in the Asia-Pacific region, including Azerbaijan, particularly when you talk about green infrastructure, which includes climate proofing of infrastructure. We are estimating that the region needs at least $1.7 trillion a year in order to meet the infrastructure financing gap that the region focuses. This is a huge amount of money. The requirement is huge, and that is why we are saying that the Asian Development Bank, working with other development partners, if we can meet or try to address some of these existing gaps, then we feel that by promoting enabling infrastructure, we will have gone some way in terms of trying to promote the economic prospects, job creation, and entrepreneurship development in countries like Azerbaijan. Since we are looking at the strategy in a very long term, going up to 2030, it is difficult to concretely talk about specific numerical improvements, but I think it is very clear that looking at the infrastructure gaps, looking at the potential for regional cooperation to create more trade will lead to more economic opportunities. Economic opportunities would lead to more employment creation, and we feel that all of these issues are fundamental to improving Azerbaijan's prospects in the future.
Mr. Parviz, thank you very much for your time and for the interesting interview, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
This was Safdar Parviz from the Asian Development Bank. We have discussed regional cooperation. Goodbye.